Hey everyone, George here. So this is a follow-up video to the Wizard read-through I did for issue number 22. I remember really being interested in the letters columns and just hearing what different people had to say from the time. And so I wanted to follow up and read everything from the letters columns and just kind of share that with y'all because I thought it was really interesting to hear comic book fans' perspectives from the 90s, and I just thought it was really cool, so I wanted to do a follow-up video and discuss that. And I've gotten a few more Wizard magazines since then, and I definitely want to do more read-throughs of those and then also do follow-up videos for those specifically for the letters columns just like this one. So in Wizard, this was called Magic Words. And I guess the people answering here are Pat McCullough, creative director, and Patrick Daniel O'Neill, who's the contributing editor. And I'm just going to read everything here. But it says, before we dive into the mailbag this month, let's address two important topics. First, we've gotten several letters inquiring if our own Gareb Shumas and Miles from Murphy Brown were one and the same. Though you'd be hard-pressed to tell them apart, Gareb is only Gareb. Secondly, Gary Wong and John Gill of St. Catharines, Ontario, have put an end to the let's come up with a cool Jean Grey codename debate. Some of the names they suggested were Grey Girl, Jean X, Jean the Psychic Machine. Oh, that's hilarious. Jean the Psychic Machine. Scotty's Little Psychic, and Prior for Hire. They even went so far as to make anagram codenames for her various identities: Hip Oxen, Green Jay, and Mr. Livergow. This being the best response we've received from our request for cool Jean Grey codenames. It appears Jean Grey is in fact doomed to superhero hell by having her real name as her codename. Now on to the letters. And the first letter says, "Dear Wizard, I would like to respond to a letter in your Magic Words column, Wizard number 19. It was from Mr. T and was concerning women's lack of understanding in regard to his comic book collecting. I am a woman married to a man who collects comics. Although at first I was skeptical, I tolerated it because it gave him so much pleasure, not just in collecting, but in reading his books. Our 8-year-old daughter soon took an interest in collecting, mostly because her dad did. She is learning disabled and had been unable to read. The comics at first visually appealed to her, but soon she was also interested in the content. She was too mature to be motivated by the baby stories her teachers were trying to teach her with. Besides her disability, she had no motivation. Comics and her father have been a motivation, and she is learning to read. My husband then came to me with another idea. He wanted to buy a comic book store, so we did. Now we have a business we enjoy and we feel good about what we do. So tell his wife to be supportive of the man she loves. Let him do what makes him happy. It may not have as happy an ending as our story has, but when you give a little, you usually get a little. I'm sure there are things he tolerates from her also." And then the next one is, "Dear Wizard, my friend and I have gone into a state of depression and panic. Here in the land down under, we recently saw a very popular current affairs television program that said that my absolute favorite comic, Spawn, is too sadistic and violent, referencing to issue 5, to be on the market. Censorship people have been watching this comic carefully and are thinking of selling it bagged and restricting it to the people of only 18 years and over. What can this poor 16-year-old do? Are there any suggestions that you could give me about what I can do to stop this evil deed? Thank you." And the response from Wizard is, "There are several store owners out there that will not sell Spawn to young readers, either because they themselves feel the material is questionable or they are fearful of the reactions from the parents of the kids they sell it to. As far as an official national movement to ban or censor the book, no." And then the next one is, "Dear Wizard, this Death of Superman stuff is starting to make me wonder. The week before Superman 75 came out, I called the store and reserved a copy. I just thought I'd open the bag, get my goodies, and be happy. When I bought my comic, I received a shock. This was the first and only time I'd seen a bagged comic, and I was amazed at how carefully preserved the book was, so I kept it sealed. Anyway, I was talking to a few people at the store and heard that if the comic stays in the bag, it slowly deteriorates and that the comic will at one point in time reach a peak in price and then fall and slowly climb again. What I'm wondering is, one, should I take out my comic or should I leave it in there? Two, if I leave it in there, when should I sell it? And Wizard's answer is, we suggest opening and reading the comics you buy, but as far as your investor speculator questions, open it and store it in an acid-free bags and boards. This is the safest way to go. Polybag comics will deteriorate in one way or another. And then two, sell it when it's hot, buy when it's not. And the next question is, Dear Wizard, my friend and I are very disgusted with your magazine. Living in Wyoming, the closest comic shop is a 2-hour drive away. The only way we can get Wizard is at the local newsstand. When you stated in page 3, issue 16 about the Bloodshot insert cards and the supposed 2 Magnus versus Predator cards, it hit me. It is not fair that direct copies get 3 cards and the newsstand gets 1 card. If you're only going to put 1 card in Wizard's newsstand copy, why not make it 1 card that the direct copies can't get? It's just not fair. And so Wizard's response is, Wizard produced cards are available in every outlet Wizard is sold, be it direct market, newsstand, or through subscriptions. Bonuses like the Predator Magnus card in issue 16 or the randomly inserted Chromium Turok cards in Wizard 21 are only available through the polybagged issues of Wizard, direct market, and subscription copies. Newsstand copies are not polybagged so as to allow newsstand customers to flip through and enjoy the book. The bonus cards are never printed with the extra flap necessary for newsstand insertion, so there's no affordable way to get them into the book. If you're still disgusted or low on gas, get a subscription. Dear Wizard, how hot in Celsius, Fahrenheit, or Kelvin is Ghost Rider's Flamehead? Why can Spider-Man climb walls with his costume on? His fingers aren't touching the wall. 3. How does unstable molecule fabric work, and what practical uses are there for it besides as superhero costumes? 4. Will there ever be a semi-decent Marvel movie coming out soon? Oh man. And Wizard answers with, it's mythical hellfire as opposed to the regular kind, so it can't be measured by Fahrenheit or the like. 2. Spidey sticks to stuff through a form of static electricity, not through some kind of secreted adhesive. The static electricity runs through his costume. 3. How do unstable molecules work? From what I understand, this stuff is highly adaptable to any new form, making it nearly indestructible as well. Where a regular superhero outfit would catch fire or rip if worn into battle by the Torch or Mr. Fantastic, the unstable molecules adapt their molecular structure to allow the flame to pass through the suit without damage, or to stretch great distances without ripping. Very cool stuff. And Wizard, and this is probably just the funniest response, but the 4th question was, will there ever be a semi-decent Marvel movie coming out soon? And Wizard answered that question with a simple no. I hope this person actually got to see everything that's come to pass and all of the Marvel films. I hope they got to see Endgame. I hope they got to see No Way Home, just so they could know that this simple no was completely wrong. And we did eventually get awesome Marvel content. And we continue to get awesome Marvel content. I just got stuck on that comment. It made me want to make this video, and so that's why I'm pretty glad we're doing this. And the next question. Dear Wizard, I felt I finally had to write a letter as a rebuttal to all of the mature independent readers who write in every month and condescendingly dump all over Marvel and DC. Print more articles on quality, well-written stories, they say. Well, if you ask me, or the vast majority of comic readers for that matter, the mainstream books do feature high-quality, well-written stories. A large piece of comic book buying public consists of teenagers and young adults. I am 16, and we have no interest in the more adult books. Frankly, I find them boring. I read X-Men, Wildcats, and Batman because I love flashy art and exciting stories. That is why I read comics. Furthermore, Wizard cannot publish a magazine full of articles on low-selling independents because then it would sell about as many copies as the books it reviews. Finally, just lighten up. If you enjoy Hepcats or Cerebus or any other independent book, great. Just don't put down other people because their books are different from yours. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. As I see it, Marvel and Image are pretty dang beautiful. Next question. Dear Wizard, I am the proud owner of Fantastic Four Annual number 3 in mint condition. The copy has a printed front cover and a blank inside front cover and a back cover with a blank inside and out. I was told this was a subscription copy for people who subscribe to Fantastic Four. Can you tell me if this is correct, and what price should this be for it? Waiting patiently. And then the response from Wizard is, since Marvel subscriptions were pretty low back then, there is no way it would do a special printing for just a couple thousand copies, if that. Additionally, annuals aren't included in subscriptions, and why would Marvel change it anyway? What you have is one of two things: an error copy. If this is the case, bring it to several reputable Silver Age dealers and see what you're offered for it. Two, you have something other than Fantastic Four number 3. Check your copy over thoroughly. And I thought that was really interesting because for the longest time, I never heard anything about error comics, but now I see a lot of different error comics, like the Venom Lethal Protector with the, I think, the white background or the black background, those errors, and they're actually really in demand. I wonder if anyone ever got this person's book or how much this guy was offered for this error book. But I just thought it was pretty interesting too. So the next question is, hello world, I've just finished reading Batman, Seduction of the Gun. I'm stunned. I just realized where the comic book industry is leaning. Is this what young people will grow up with? Who are these new guys in town? Wetworks, big guys, and big guns are killing everybody in their path. Kids eat this stuff up. What I'm trying to say is that killing people for fun is inconceivable. How can we slay men and women for entertainment? Will I see Captain America trade his shield in for a bazooka? Comics Code Authority or not, our heroes are not here to protect us anymore, but to spill blood all over the world. Am I too radical? Open your eyes and look around. And Wizard's response is, no, you're not too radical. Comics as a whole nowadays are severely lacking in story, making up for it with shock value content and cover enhancements. Sadly, as you said, a lot of fans eat this stuff up and will continue to make this form of storytelling profitable. Some books do a good job of showing the problem of violent gun-related crimes, like Seduction of the Gun, but most just show how cool it is to carry a 20-pound gun and blow holes into people. I think this is called progress. Next one. Yo, Wizard, guess what? Spidey wasn't the only one to make a new costume in the Secret Wars. He finds out about the costume device through Hulk and Thor. Hulk used it to make Thor a new cape and helmet. My question is, who has the cape and helmet now? Eric Masterson or the real Thor? Do you think there is any chance of this stuff becoming Venom's brother or something? Thanks. And Wizard's answer is, in Secret Wars 8, Spider-Man sees Thor and the Hulk walking out of a laboratory with brand new costumes on. Spidey, in need of a new suit after a battle with some super baddie, wants to know where the new threads came from. They tell him about this alien costume making machine, and Spidey heads into the lab looking for the wondrous machine. Well, the lab is full of sorts of wacky machinery and stuff, and Spidey takes a guess, and though they never come right out and say it, he picks the wrong machine. Out comes this black goop, which one day will become Eddie Brock's best friend, and ta-da! Spidey has a brand new costume. Our belief is that Spider-Man used a different machine than Thor and Hulk. But hey, this is Marvel, the people that pulled the living Iron Man armor from the Secret Wars story in Quasar a few years back. Don't rule out a Venom Thor character altogether. As for where his alien-made clothing has gone, he has had his costume shredded 100 times over since then. If the clothing was alive, it's most definitely dead, or as dead in Marvel as something can be. So I thought that was really interesting, especially considering how popular Marvel and the symbiotes are, and I'm guessing this is prior to Carnage's debut, so I thought that question was really interesting too. Next question. Dear Wizard, I may not be a wizard, but I could do a little magic too. 1. Take a black hat. 2. Take one copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 238 without tattoo, and he says it's $24 here. I guess that was how much it was going for back then. And put it into the hat. 3. Take one copy of Fantastic Four 252 with the same tattoo, $3, and put it into the hat. Voila! One copy of Amazing Spider-Man 238 with tattoo, $60. And Wizard responded, "You're talking about the free Lakeside tattoo that came with most of the Marvel comics published in March 1983. Amazing Spider-Man 238 came out that month, which was the first appearance of the Hobgoblin and quickly became a hot collectible. Running true to form, collectors wanted the book pristine, tattoo intact. The tattoos were held inside the comic by the staples that hold the book together, but a little work can open the staples and allow you to remove and add an untouched tattoo from one of the other comics involved in the promotion. That means you can grab a worthless tattoo book, FF252, remove its tattoo, and place it in a copy of Tattooless Amazing Spidey 238, making it worth much dinero. It'll be interesting to see what this info does to the price of tattooed Amazing Spider-Man 238. So that's pretty interesting. It kind of lets you know that people were already thinking of ideas to try and, I guess, pull fast ones on other collectors, but I just thought that question was interesting too. Next one, Dear Techno Wizards, I hate to burst everyone's bubble, but the simple fact is that Strife cannot be Cyclops' or Havoc's son. Why? Because it's not possible. Remember the Extinction Agenda? Well, let me refresh your memory. The Summers brothers kept pounding away at each other to no avail. They were genetically immune to each other's powers because they were related. My point is, in the final chapter of the Executioner's song, Lex and Slim both blasted Strife with everything they had, blowing his armor away and roasting him to a nice simmering medium rare. If Strife was related to either of them, he wouldn't have even felt their blast. But if he's not related to Psyche, why did he so obviously think he was? Either Marvel's been playing us for months or they screwed up big time. And Wizard's response is a keen observation, but just because he is or could be related doesn't necessarily mean he would be immune to his dad's and uncle's powers. And what's interesting about that is if you've read X-Men Genesis and if you're familiar with the character Vulcan, you know that this is something that was actually eventually addressed with that story. I thought it was really interesting that people were asking these questions way back in the 90s too. Next one, Dear Wizard, I purchased your magazine for the first time 3 weeks ago and I liked it very much. While at the comic store where I buy my books from, I made the statement that I was thinking about subscribing to Wizard. The store owner told me that if I subscribed to the magazine, I would not get the limited edition cards the way I do when I buy the magazine from a comic book store. Is that true? And Wizard's response, as I told Chris from Wyoming, if you subscribe to Wizard, you get the whole enchilada, polybagged and delivered to your door. And this next one, it says, Seamus, you know who this is. Ha ha ha. It's your old friend. Remember before you had your own magazine? Well, no one would even look at your samples. Well, I happened to be at San Diego at the time looking for that pesky Gilad Anipata. That's when I met you sitting on the sidewalk crying. You told me how no one even looked at your samples. Do you remember now, Seamus? Well, remember that deal we made. You got 2 years of glory. When your 25th issue comes up, you'll be mine. Ha ha ha. You'll be my last and final runner. Then my power will finally be infinite. Just 2 years of glory, Seamus. 2 years of glory. Your old friend, M. Dark. And Wizard just responded, this explains a lot. Next one, Dear Wizard Dudes, will you guys ever show inside pictures from Image Studios? Number 2, will you be interviewing inkers and colorists besides artists? I think they are just as important. Third question, is it true that DC will kill Batman in 93 through 94? Before I go, I want to thank the entire comic universe for making my life, and I'm sure 1,000 others, a great deal more fun and fulfilling place to live. Past, present, future. May comics reach greater heights. And Wizard's answer to the first question is maybe, but not anytime soon. Their answer to the second question is maybe, but not anytime soon. Their answer to the third question is the word on the street is that Batman will die and be replaced by Azrael in a new high-tech Batman suit, or that Batman will be severely wounded and have to build up a new bat suit to help him clean up Gotham. Either way, he's getting a new set of duds. That's it for the mailbag this month. But before I go, a quick word from someone who has way too much free time. It says this is an open statement to all you twisted mutant lovers out there. I assume that all of you read X-Force 21 by now and saw how James Rhodes in the War Machine armor took down all of X-Force all by himself. Easily, it was no contest. Now think, if Rhodes in the War Machine armor can easily defeat X-Force, then surely Tony Stark in the real Iron Man armor can easily defeat the X-Men. So all of you mindless X fans can stop putting Iron Man down and admit he's the better man. Thanks for listening, Doug Goldstein. And Pat McCullough finishes up and says, and the debate rages on. Enjoy the rest of the issue. And I just thought this was really interesting. And I always wanted to write into Wizard and kind of be a part of this. And there's one more thing I wanted to talk about here. There's kind of some short answers I wanted to add in. It says, ask the Wizard. If Spider-Man operates his web shooters by pressing a mechanism in his palm, then how does he make a fist to punch someone without spraying out webbing? And the answer is, you have to give the web shooters a quick double tap to make them work. A simple tap, like when you make a fist, won't set them off. Question, is Superman's heat vision stronger than Cyclops' optic blast? Answer, they're two different things. Superman's heat vision has no force behind it, where Cyclops' optic blast can punch holes through steel plate. So what's stronger? And they say Cyclops' optic blast, which is, I thought it's pretty interesting. And so next one, on the wizard cards, what is the Kibasho meter? Answer, it's our way of rating how strong the characters are in relationship with each other. When we do team cards, we use the Team Kibasho meter and rank them against other super teams. Next question, what would happen if Cyclops became blind? Answer, since his optic blasts aren't connected to his vision, the only effect would be that he wouldn't see what he's destroying when he opens his eyes. And so I guess those were quick questions and answers. And I just thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed reading those. It took me back just thinking about the answers to those questions and just the questions themselves, like, is Batman going to die and all sorts of things. It was really interesting. And I hope to do another one of these really soon. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comments, let me know. I did see that Wizard do have their own channel. I watched a really funny reunion video that I enjoyed a lot. And so if you want to see, if you miss Wizard and you just want to see and show them some support, definitely subscribe to them. I know I am, and I look forward to their content. But that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.